Namaste and welcome to yet another edition of Inside the Bunker with the one and only Tom Cooper, and he's been with us right through this coverage of fury in the Gulf, and matters are only seem to be taking a turn for the worse. With respect to the kinetic action or the military action, and also with the commercial aspect, with the big energy crisis that's brewing. Now, even as we speak, viewers, have a look at this, and Tom, you can explain it further. We're just going to call it on the graphic there, and you have it here to work it for our viewers in terms of the traffic that we are seeing pile up here in the Arabian Sea. Now, is this also an impact? This is not usually how crowded there it is, and if we zoom in, the red arrows there into the Gulf of Oman, we see that traffic thinning hugely. This is supposed to be a very, very busy. How would you explain this?
Well, I said the Hormuz is still closed, or at least nobody trusts himself to pass by. Principally related to insurance, but also, of course, the Iranian threats. And nobody trusts the Iranians now when they say, when Pezeshkian says they're not going to attack.
So if you were to come here and
yes.
just slowly, I'm just going to zoom in on the phone, and it mirrors it there. Now, there's a huge pileup that's happening in the Persian Gulf and also towards the entry of the Persian Gulf, and there's literally no traffic
It is like this. You have to imagine the United Arab Emirates Air Force and air defenses organized up here and protecting this area.
Right.
Omani armed forces, in particular Air Force, is patrolling this area. So this is where you see the most of ships are gathering as well. They are protected here. They're not protected here, up here. So this is why all of them are actually grouping around here in these areas. And it's similar on the other side. Most of ships seem to be grouping in the Dammam area. This is off the coast of Saudi Arabia, not near Bahrain, not near Qatar. Or at least near Bahrain, there are relatively few here. Why? Because the Saudi Air Force has a better control of the air in this area, of Al Jubail and Ob Dammam.
But what are these, the red legends? Does this mean that these ships are stationary here?
As far as I understand, yes, they are stationary, except at least the red dots, not the red arrows.
Red arrows. The red dots seem to be ships that are piled up and that are stationary. Now, if I were to just zoom in here on this region, we tend to see a lot of ships that are slowly accumulating in and around the Gulf region. Now, look at this. Hardly any ships here in this. There is no traffic. Literally no traffic.
Here, for example. But foremost here at the mouth of the...
Yeah, the mouth. But this is usually very, very busy, always.
You can always see them moving in two columns, one in, the other out. And now that it is almost clear, there are only minor vessels underway, which this is probably local merchant dhows, which are, wooden vessels used already for thousands of years. Which are in widespread, which remain in widespread use.
Right, but if you were to see, viewers, as of now, there is no activity in this Strait of Hormuz. Now, the longer this remains, what's it going to? Is it going to fuel an energy crisis? Is that what's going to happen?
Because what would be necessary would be for the tankers to bring all the oil and liquid gas out of the Persian Gulf, and this is simply not happening.
Okay. Now, if you were to juxtapose this with the attacks of the U.S. forces, let's take that forward. Which are the places in this region that the Americans were attacking? There were attacks in Minab.
Foremost attacking Bandar Abbas and Minab.
Okay.
Additionally, they are attacking Bandar Langeh and along the coast of Qeshm. This is Qeshm Island, and they are striking different targets here.
Why?
Well, because this is probably where the IRGC is hiding its speedboats and similar equipment. Also, its missiles, especially in these two areas. This is a large military garrison already traditionally, since dozens of years. So their primary bases here, and they're striking these bases. The question is, how much are they catching anything anymore? Because after 10 years, most of the bases are entirely empty. Only the guards are around, and the troops in their equipment are somewhere outside.
So if the Iranians still claim to be able to haunt or terrorize the Strait of Hormuz and the oil tankers, where will they be attacking from?
You can expect them to attack, for example, from shallows between mountains here, or from the mountains, from hideouts in the mountains. The point is, from their islands off the shore, they have the perfect control, or at least visual control, of what is going on in the Persian Gulf. And if they see some kind of vessel moving in this or that direction, they're automatically calling to the mainland, and somebody at the mainland then is taking steps, to open fire, or to send a speedboat,
right,
or to send a UAV in that direction. So it is not a pleasant situation for anybody, whether here or there, who is de facto waiting for what is going to happen.
If you were to take the Gulf of Oman, I've just zoomed out a bit on the phone, and you can see that. Where are the U.S. installations placed? Where are the U.S. or the Americans attacking the south-central Iran or this region?
U.S. installations, they have abandoned or vacated, withdrawn from installations in United Arab Emirates. At most, they have air defense systems over here. So right now, they're probably down in Masirah. This is an island off the coast of Oman, further south.
Yeah, is it there? Zooming in somewhere?
No, further south.
Further south.
Sorry.
Okay. So that is Salalah.
And the U.S. aircraft carrier is somewhere here.
Okay.
In this area, and this is from where they are launching their airstrikes against targets along the southern coast of Iran. In this area. Foremost in area of Shabaha.
Okay.
Sorry,
so you want to take that map and then explain it there.
Yes.
Let's move to that map.
Because,
it's a bit easier. So you can zoom in and then you can explain it better. Yeah.
So if you go like this, sorry. No. So let's flipping to the side. So this is Masirah. This island has a big air base suitable even for American heavy bombers. So they can fly from here over Pakistan, for example, and over fly strikes on against targets in eastern Iran and southeastern Iran. And then, of course, the aircraft carrier, which is somewhere here, is flying strikes against targets along the coast.
You want to draw that?
Yeah. Yes. For example, aircraft carrier is
here, and then you also have this island of Masirah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
From where the bombers are flying airstrikes like this.
Okay.
So this is principal method of operation currently. I said U.S. bases. Sorry, this is not Masirah. Masirah is here.
Okay. Masirah is there. Okay.
Yeah, I got lost for a while. Anyway, point is, this is how they are operating. The U.S. Fighters from the U.S. aircraft carrier are certainly patrolling the area here along over the Gulf of Muscat, Gulf of Oman, and controlling what is going on and trying to bolster the air defenses of United Arab Emirates and of Oman.
Right.
So in order to protect these countries from additional strikes by Iran.
Right. Now, let me ask you another question. Can the B-52 bombers be launched from an aircraft carrier, or do they need a solid air base? And if they are going to be used, the B-52 bombers are going to be used, which air bases or which locations from where they will actually take off?
Masirah is primary base in this area. Otherwise, they have the Diego Garcia in the Chagos, which is some 3,000 kilometers away. So they are launching from here, and I said flying like this. Let me just correct this part of the... So, flying like this. Which means actually they are coming up to somewhere over southwestern Pakistan.
Okay.
Now he deleted everything. Okay. So from Masirah like this, and then they are launching their cruise missiles in this direction.
Right.
And the aircraft from the aircraft carrier, they are launching from here and flying combat air patrols along the coast of Iran.
Right.
Simultaneously, there are lots of UAVs, as always, reconnaissance UAVs equipped with different gadgets to enabling them to detect and track Iranian forces. They are all the time flying over the coast.
Okay.
Why this disposition? Why this disposition? Because if UAV gets surprised and shot down, nobody cares. But if a combat aircraft gets shot down, well, if the crew gets surprised and shot down, then that is a big problem, of course.
It's a big problem, of course. Now, we got more news coming through. Now, CNN News 18's mega exclusive, Manoj Kumar Gupta getting us these details, that the government is fully committed to bring LPG from the Gulf and also to try and meet the domestic shortage for the domestic consumer. Now, the Petroleum Ministry has sought serious security assurances from urgent Gulf fuel shipments, and also the government is in talks with Iran and the US to ensure safe passage. Now, if there is an Indian naval ship that is going to escort tankers, LPG tankers, where will they come from, and what is the kind of assurance that will have to be given? Now, that's a question that we'll have to answer. The other part is, Tom, that if Qatar is not making LPG and LNG, where are our tankers going to find move? Because the Iranians have said we have nothing against the Asian countries. We don't have a problem with the Asian bloc. Will the Americans and the Iranians be able to guarantee passage?
Theoretically, I said I'm not expecting this to happen within the next week or something. So the Americans could say, hey, we are going to escort tankers in and out of the Persian Gulf.
Right.
Indian Navy could say, okay, we are going to bolster these escorts, taking sides in this conflict. So India is going to prefer to find its own solution, which would be, for example, a convoy of own ships,
right,
escorting tankers and bringing them in, loading them, protecting them while they're loading, for example, in Qatar.
Right.
And then, Qatar is here.
Yeah.
And then escorting them out. Problem is to do so without air cover, which means the Indian Navy would have to bring its aircraft carrier to the area as well.
Right, but that's why they're seeking assurances both from the US and from the Iranians that they will be allowed passage. My question is that if India is allowed passage, then the Koreans will ask for the same, the Chinese will ask for the same, every country will ask for the same. And a lot of the oil tankers are already parked here in various bays and they're waiting to be moved out. So is this a possibility? Can this happen?
It can be organized. It's not a question. That is a political issue between the governments in question. That means Indian government has to discuss this not only with the American government, but also with Chinese or Thai government or whatever other country is interested. The point is then to build up some sort of a coalition which says, okay, we are all ready to send our warships into the harm's way. We are going to pass the Hormuz, reach Qatar, reach the tankers which are loaded and bring them safely out.
So is that possible? Now
that is possible, yes.
Pallavi is with us with more. Pallavi, the government is trying to speak to both sides to ensure. Tom Cooper says it's a political aspect, but that will also mean sending our warship into a conflict area, into a conflict zone. Now, how much of a risk is that? Because insurance is also slowly getting very, very expensive. Not many insurers are willing to give that kind of guarantees. Yeah.
No, but Anand, we have been, what government sources have told me is that we have been speaking to the Americans as far as the insurance is concerned, and that is at an advanced stage. So that insurance coming also takes a little bit of a time. But once we get that insurance, it should be easier sale, pun intended really, Anand, to get those supplies. Look, when we talk about Strait of Hormuz and the entire Gulf region, as far as crude oil and energy products, which is petrol and diesel is concerned, not much of a worry for us because only 40% of it comes from there. But the story is not the same as far as the LPG or the LNG supplies are concerned, because the main source happens to be from those areas.
He's calling her. That's the reason why. Okay. Okay. Well, we're trying to go. That's what happens when you're real-time reporting.
The insurers are refusing to insure the ships. Why? Because they're not protected. And if something happens to one of the ships, the risk is simply too high. Correct. And the insurers would have to pay lots of money. Therefore, they say, we are waiting and to see if there is going to be an escort, then we are going to increase the insurance, but then we can talk about insuring the ships.
Yeah, but most of the insurers right now, even the current insurances, they have reportedly called for a force majeure. So saying that they've revoked and say you reinsure yourself at a much higher price, as much as $7 million per ship. Yes. Now, that's again, some of these insurers are sitting in the European countries and also American countries. That's where the money is. So it's now become a big money-making racket. Yeah. But let's also talk about the kind of bunker busters and the B-52s. Where
Yes.
was their operation? Why did the US use the B-52s and where did they operate?
Well, they've used the B-52, as far as I know, to strike targets, these missile cities in Iran, foremost in well, de facto usual area. Excuse me, just a second. So which would be somewhere between Tehran, Seman, Esfahan, Shiraz, and Khorramabad. So this is the area where there are most of missile bases, underground missile bases in Iran.
Okay.
And so they have brought them here over Pakistan.
So they are using the Pakistani airspace?
As far as I know, yes. And from here they have launched their AGM-158 JSON other targets in this area. Different targets in this area. I don't know exact number of how many missiles were deployed, but every single B-52 can carry at least 12, if not 24.
Okay.
So from that point of view, well, point is this. JSON has or is supposed to have a similar penetrating power like BLU-109, which is GPS guided but free fall.
Right.
So this all means Iranian air defenses in this area are actually still active. They do not dare going with aircraft carrying or very cautious not to go with too many aircraft, not to take too much risk.
Right.
So better with AGM-158 from safer distance than by dropping BLU-109 from shorter range.
Shorter range. So, but the JASSMs that you said,
Yes.
Are they precision weapons?
Yes, they're precision weapons. They have similar precision like BLU-109, bunker buster bomb.
They're called the bunker busters.
Yes.
But what is their penetration level? That's another concern which you've said that, most of these facilities are way below about 100, 120 meters below
Yes.
the ground, whereas the bunker busters go about 60 to 80 meters
Yes,
max?
precisely, that's the point. The BLU, we are going to see it on slides.
Yeah.
It was developed for penetrating some 50, 60, perhaps 70, 80 meters deep.
Yeah, can we call up the graphics here? Yeah, now this is
a wreckage of AGM-158.
158.
So the point is this. The BLU-109, which we are going to see in this illustration, was made to penetrate some 50 to perhaps 80 meters deep under the ground.
Right.
And
Can
just
you continue
2 years,
Yes.
if we can start this illustration.
Yeah, start the graphic, yeah.
Just 2 years after it entered service, the Iranians began the project of constructing their underground missile cities. And so they have positioned them intentionally lower, further down, deeper, than the BLU-109 can penetrate.
Right.
So that means the Americans and Israelis cannot drop as many such bombs as they like in order in attempt to penetrate the soil and to reach the tunnels, to destroy the tunnels. But they are not reaching them. This is not enough.
Is it possible that you can fire two BLUs one after the other? That one creates an opening, comes down 60 meters, and the other one follows straight down, so it gets and explodes here and perhaps further goes down. Is that possible?
They're trying precisely that. Both Israelis and Americans, and well, missiles are still flying at Israel. So not only Israel. So I would say this is talking for itself.
Right.
Obviously, it's not going that well as they would like it to go.
Right. But the claim that the U.S.-Israeli forces had made is that they have, pummeled or destroyed at least 60% of the ballistic missile launch capabilities, and they have also shut down access to a large number of these tunnel systems.
That's the same they claimed last year in June.
Right.
So, for me, sorry, until I see some kind of evidence, it's pointless to discuss it because this is purely academic. They claim we have destroyed the Iranians, but the Iranians are still shooting missiles. So,
right. Now, there's another update, Tom, and I wanted to get your chance. See, the Turkish government and the Iraqis both have now come out and said, don't get adventurous on our side. Turkey especially has now warned Iran specifically. What will be the impact if Turkey gets drawn in? The Iraqis have also now come out and said, don't violate our airspace and don't come and keep attacking us because we will respond, retaliate. So in the event that a Turkey and say an Iraq respond, and does that then turn this entire complex problem a little more complex?
of course, it's making it very complex. The problem is this. The Turks don't want any kind of a Kurdish state.
Okay.
Neither here, especially not on their borders. They are tolerating the one in northern Iraq here, but they don't want another one in northwestern Iran. So this is their primary standpoint, their primary interest. On the other hand, if the Iranians attack Turkey, of course they are going to shoot back sooner or later. The same is what it was Azerbaijan. None of them wants this regime in Tehran. On the contrary, there is this regime is at least highly influential in this part of Iraq,
Right.
in southeast. Therefore, the Iraqis are a little bit more cautious, let's say.
Okay.
The Iraqi government is also not delighted about this Kurdish autonomy up in the north.
Right.
So this is a very, very complex situation. And of course, everybody there is threatening, because in this situation you can only threaten whatever happens. You react with a threat in order to stay off any kind of additional attacks on your proper.
Okay. Let me also ask you, because you said that the Iranian command right now is highly decentralized. The IRGC is decentralized. Now, we've also heard mixed signals coming in from their leadership. Is it a possibility that Tehran is actually thinking something, but the decentralized command is acting
This is guaranteed.
in its own way? And
This is
now,
guaranteed,
if they
yes.
continue to attack this airspace and Turkey responds, then does Iran then find itself totally stretched? Because then each of these nations will start getting active. Saudi Arabia started getting active, UAE started getting active.
Okay.
So
I mean, UAE is already active. They, for example, they have bombed this desalination plant at Qashm Island, knocking out water supply for 30 villages. Where Iran might now retaliate in fashion. If it hits back on desalination plants in Gulf states, there's going to be a huge trouble.
Huge water problem also.
Because they have, 20, 30 million people up here and actually no water supply for them.
Yeah, but then Qashm becomes important because Iran has a SAMS base and an anti-missile base. So Qashm's been targeted specifically to try and clear the Strait of Hormuz or Iran's stranglehold
there. But you do not clear the Strait of Hormuz to targeting the desalination plants. That's the point. So what supermind was behind this idea, I don't know. It's the same with Israeli strikes on Iranian oil facilities. This is now making Iranians in their minds, offering them legitimacy to strike oil industry of everybody else. So why doing this, I don't understand. But the point is, in total, to come back to your original question, we have the government in Tehran, and then we have IRGC up here in let's say northwest, west, in southwest, in south, in southeast, and so on and so on. And every single of these entities is acting actually on its own. Plus, they might be advising the IRGC command, which is separate from that in Tehran. So now the question is, how much are these two in synchronization or not? That is the first question. The second question is, what was the last that the IRGC command has told to its local commanders? And if they are out of touch due to loss of communications, which can easily happen, particularly here in Western Iran, because they are so heavily bombed by Israelis up here and by Americans down here, then the question is, how do they communicate? What was the last order? Do the local commanders, they do not sit in front of the TV the entire day. And even if they are indoctrinated not to trust the public information, they trust only the military information, military intelligence. Therefore, they're acting entirely on their own. Along rules which are based on their military indoctrination.
Now we got to wind up this edition as we get in with Inside the Bunker with Tom Cooper. But there is a new supreme leader, and he's Syed Mustafa Khamenei. Does he have the command, or is he a mere puppet installed there by some hawks within the IRGC? Who calls this thing? Because he is relatively a greenhorn. For that, you've got to stay tuned, because we're going to pick this up on the other side on the right stand. Stay with us.